Blessings, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. So, we just released a household index that I'm going to be playing. This was live on LinkedIn last week sometime. Let me just make sure that I have a better connection. Let me see here. Give me a moment, y'all. Doesn't look like um, my Wi-Fi has a strong signal. Give me 1 second. Well, don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but okay, looks like my Wi-Fi is getting better. For some reason, it's going up and down. I don't know if there's a tower or something, but if y'all can hear me, hopefully someone comment, let me know. But we're gonna go ahead and play this video that was live on LinkedIn last week from our president. Go ahead and listen to you guys and listen to what's happening. It's about 20 minutes long. I'm in my cardio too, so if you guys can watch it live, great. If not, play back and delegate about a half hour. Okay, here you go.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Schneider, and I'm the president of Primerica. For those of you who don't know much about Primerica, we're a financial services firm. We're based in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and we focus on middle income families. So we define middle income families as by income as $30,000 a year in income on the low side and up to $130,000 in income annually. And that if you look at those two parameters, that's about 56% of households in the U.S. By the way, we also operate in Canada as well. Our major products: number one, life insurance. We're a huge life insurer, only sell term insurance. We're approaching, we hope to hit this milestone next couple of years, $1 trillion of life insurance in force. And it's a need in the households that we service, and we're always proud to be able to help those families. And then we also help people save money. We have a broker dealer, close to $100 billion of assets under management that fluctuates with the market. But what we're mostly known for is the size of our sales force. So we have over 135,000 representatives, some of whom are part-time and some of whom are full-time with us. And what we do, we go into middle income families' homes, we sit across the kitchen table, we understand their needs, and then we try and match the products we have, the services we have, and mostly education to help those families. They're families that don't always get the help they need. And so we're always proud to be able to make a difference in those households. Joining me today is, I believe, another middle income crusader, and that's Amy Cruz Cutts. She is a nationally recognized economist, and she's an economic consultant to Primerica. I'm just going to pull Amy's resume is so long. We would need 5 broadcasts to go over it, but I want to highlight a few things here. She was previously the senior vice president and chief economist for Equifax and a senior director and deputy chief economist at Freddie Mac. She's a regular panelist for the Wall Street Journal and the Blue Chip Economic Indicator surveys of economists. And for us, she's a developer of what we're going to talk about today, which is the Household Budget Index. So, Amy, I'm going to start by just saying why we felt we needed that index, but I'm going to look to you to tell us what it's about and how you constructed it. So let me start, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the Household Budget Index was an effort by us to try and bring more clarity, more focus to what's happening within a middle income family's households. So we use the same 30,000 to 130,000 in income. And you have probably heard, we're going to talk more about it in a minute, the Consumer Price Index. What that is a collection of goods and services, and we try, economists price those and track it over time to see are costs going up or costs going down for that bundle. Well, what we want to focus on is what's happening in a middle income household. What are their budget strains? Where are they doing well? Where are they encountering difficulties? And so, with Amy's help, what we wanted to do was to construct a index that told us, as close as we could get it, what is happening financially within a household. What's the purchasing power of that household? Looking at the expenses of goods that they consume that perhaps other families don't that are in the CPI, but what are the goods and services they consume? And what about the income coming into that household, the wages at that household, and then measure that over a period of time. We began with January 2019. I'll let Amy explain why we started there. And then we're going to track it. And that will give us a lot of insights as to what these families are encountering. So, Amy, you can fix anything I said wrong there, but mostly tell us how you put the index together and where it fits into, from an economist standpoint, where it fits into all these indices that are available.
Sure, I'm glad to, Peter. It's great to be working with Primerica. The index came out of the study that I did for you all with the Financial Security Monitor, which is a great survey that you run on a quarterly basis. And in doing that, I was investigating exactly what you said, which was the impact of prices of necessity items on family budgets. And the frustration I have as an economist that we talk about the CPI level of inflation, and then we very quickly get bogged down into this discussion about core CPI, which is when we throw out volatile gasoline, energy, and food prices. The challenge there, I think, is that households don't have the option of throwing out those items. They gotta buy gas to get to work. They gotta buy food for the family. They gotta heat their homes. And when the cost of those items goes up sharply, which they do day to day, even not even quarter to quarter, it really impacts their ability to cover their expenses. So the index came out of that. As you said, it's $30,000 to $130,000 income households. We focused on earned income because so much of family, first of all, you already mentioned 56% of the population fits in that range of households. And earned income, people don't tend to think about things like the helicopter money that came from the CARES Act and other pandemic relief, that those windfalls that come along. And I really wanted to pay attention then to wage earners, salary and wage earners, and how inflation is impacting them. Now, I want to highlight, we use only 4 categories of items in the Household Budget Index. We use the prices of gasoline, utilities, so that would be any kind of utilities we lump together. We use food prices, and we use healthcare, which includes health services, prescription drugs, as well as insurance. And more than that, I don't just say, oh, I'm going to take those out of the CPI. I actually look at middle income household spending patterns on these items. And so they get weighted to represent middle income households. So it's kind of a twofer. It's what we focus on, as well as the weights, the population shares that they spend. And I'll give you an example that the CPI is a fixed market basket. It includes things like the prices of new and used cars, and it includes dishwashers and stereos and other items like that. And very few of us would buy those on a month-to-month basis. And yes, in aggregate, some fraction of us buy those every month. But it's not a common thing in the income range that we're talking about. And so to weight them and to give them as much attention as they would in the overall CPI just really obscures the fact that these households are truly burdened by the cost of these items. To give you a sense, the share of household budgets that go to these expenses is roughly 30 to 40% of their budgets. So these are really big spending items.
Well, I think that all of us can relate to that. So when you go to the grocery store, which is a category of food, and now you have to scan everything yourself, right? So when you're scanning everything and you can see everything adding up, it's like watching a taximeter, and you can feel the increase today over the way not that long ago, the cost of that. Same with gas. I mean, I feel like you feel a little richer, a little poorer based on what the gas price is, and everyone's got to fill up their car. Everyone's at the pump. And one thing I noticed, I think I've mentioned this before to you, when the gas price goes up, people put less gas in the car. So they don't fill it up, right? They do what they can pay. And as gas prices go up, I've looked at pumps before and seen that people were putting 4 or 5 gallons in when their tank held a lot more. And so these are real issues in all households, certainly middle income households. When the price of gas, I assume the price of gas is one of the big drivers of the HBI. Is that right?
Oh yeah, it's a very big item. And, it's easy to think about sort of back of the envelope when you're buying, maybe you fill up the tank for $50 when the price is low and it goes up to $75, and that's on a weekly basis so you can commute to work. Well, where's that extra $25 a week coming from? At the end, it's $100 a month. If you've got 2 cars, $200 a month. And, I don't know how other people's budgets are, but I don't tend to just have extra hundreds of dollars sitting around waiting to be spent on those items. And it means it comes out of my savings, or it's going to linger on my credit card until I can catch up. And that's the stress that we're really trying to highlight here.
Now that stress can be offset by wage increases. And so you have seen, or at least I've read about, movement in wages and household incomes. But the question, I guess, always is, well, okay, if household income goes up and prices goes up, which has gone up more? Have the rise in wages offset the rise in prices? And does that create a spiral? I'm not an economist. This is a question to you, but does that create a spiral where, wait, if wages go up, then the corporation, the business needs to raise the price of goods to pay those wages, but then the household, the middle income household, falls right back into where they were before. They didn't actually move ahead. They just stayed even, or worse, they fell further behind.
So in economist lingo, you're talking about a wage price spiral of inflation, and that was in the headlines for the newspapers for a while, because there's certain topics in economics where the press and some economists like to throw these terms around and get everybody all agitated about it. But in fact, what happened was wages were growing ahead of inflation for a long period. When we had inflation around 2%, the Fed target of 2% inflation, wages were running a little ahead of that. And we're using the same database that the Atlanta Fed uses for their wage trackers. So it comes from the current population survey. And so we've got that as our backup to make sure we're doing it right and calculating it right. Well, what happened was that in late 2021 and into 2022, inflation shot up and wages started growing a little faster, but not nearly as fast as inflation. So in real terms, households lost financial ground. So their paychecks got bigger, but their grocery bills got even bigger.
Is that reflected in the index? So when I've seen, we should talk about the index. So it's pegged to 2019. So I'd love for you to help everyone understand why that is. And it has shown us, right, what you just said, that kind of post-pandemic, or when everyone started coming back and coming out of the pandemic, purchasing power actually dropped pretty precipitously, and now it's come back. So help me understand, why did we do 2019? You and I have had discussions, but be helpful to you to share with everybody. And what has the index shown since then?
Sure. So it's an index, and indexes are pegged to some point in time, and there's no magic about that. You just pick a date. But we thought about, well, what would be the right date? And what made the most sense to us was sort of the last full run of normal before the pandemic, and that was 2019. So we said January 2019, and we kind of give it a full year of whatever normal looks like before the pandemic hits. And over that initial period of time from January, so by the way, the index goes back to 2014 as a starting point, but we said, we really want to peg normal in some way as our starting point, or what we want to be relative to. So that's 100%. From 2019 until November of 2020, the index was rising. So what did that mean? It meant that incomes were rising faster than prices for our middle income target population. That meant that at the end of the month, they could pay down a little debt, or they could go see Taylor Swift maybe, or whatever their entertainment or plans might be, they could add to savings, for example. Well, then inflation starts to race ahead of income growth, and you see the index fall really fast. And in 2022, we hit the low, really came crashing down. And we felt that, right? We felt it in our hearts that at the end of the month, there was a big deficit in our budget. We can think of that January 2019 as when the family sat around the table and set their budget. How much they're going to put in savings, how much is the normal grocery bill, the gas bill, and so on. So you get to the middle of 2022 and that budget's all blown out the window. They're deficit spending. It's either coming out of savings or going on credit cards. And the family is feeling that stress. And we noticed it, especially with gasoline. A lot of people highlighted the price of eggs, but it's the raindrops of prices as well. It was the things that McDonald's prices went up, or that the cost of cooking oil went up, and the cost of fresh vegetables went up. And as droughts and fires and other things happen, those relative prices will change, and can change very quickly. But it was this relentless march up of these prices. Gasoline prices then started to come down, and we got a little relief. And now we're back in a situation since the beginning of this year, sort of March time period, where inflation has come down enough, especially in these items that we focused on, and incomes have been steadily rising. Again, not every person every month, but kind of in aggregate over that time, so that households have started to gain back some ground. In September, the index, well, the September release that we just published for the August data, it was at 97.4, which was down ever so slightly from 97.5 the month before, but gas prices came up last month. So it's a little bit of that, we make some ground, we lose a ground, it's going to be a little bumpy. I think that we'll see 100% hopefully soon, but that's all dependent on what happens to the prices of these goods.
What you just described is what everyone felt. I know myself during COVID, during when we were all locked down, we didn't spend a lot, right? And I gave myself a haircut, a terrible haircut, but I didn't have to tip the barber, right? It cost me nothing. So we were saving expenses all over the place. But once we came back and had to go to work, right now we have transportation costs we didn't have. There's an abrupt change, and prices went up, and that changed the financial condition of the household. And now I guess we're making it way back, but we're not even back to where we were. And you never regain what you've lost, right? There's a gap there that you can never make up. I'll tell you what's going to be interesting as we do this, and really appreciate the time to introduce this to the LinkedIn Live audience, is to see where this goes, because it provides insights not only for policymakers, but we're really not thinking macro, we're thinking micro. It gives insights into businesses like ours as to what's happening in a household. What are they feeling, especially when you pair it with our financial security monitor, where we gauge sentiment in the household, which presumably will match the index. But what's also important is you can do things about this, right? You can budget. It's a budget index. Underline the word budget. Household budget index. Part of that is budgeting. And so budgeting is simply about making choices, setting priorities and making choices. And I don't think I'd make a choice to cut my own hair again, but you can make choices that can affect your spending. And presumably you can try and make choices that affect the income coming in. And so we're going to watch this, Amy. We're going to see where it goes. We're going to be hopefully be on again. It's always fun to be with you. And but what this does do is it gives us another tool to take a view into a family's finances. And at the end of the day, that's really critically important, not only to us individually, all of us have households, but also, I believe, to those who think about these issues, economists and policymakers, as to what we can do to make things better for the families that are often struggle um, to have enough income coming in and struggle to pay those bills. So thank you very much. And thank all of you for watching today.
Thank you, Peter.
Give it up for Peter and Peter Snyder, Vice President, and uh, Amy Cruz Cuts. That's a cool name. But so yeah, I just wanted to share with you, for those of you that didn't get to make it to our let me see here, our Super Saturday event. I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna do the entire screen because I want to share with you some pictures, and it's gonna be on this one. All right, so senior, we just launched our open enrollment for senior healthcare. We do uh, Medicare opportunities assessment, so I'm excited for that. So we're not for everybody, that's for sure. 30,000 to 130,000 of earned income is what we're looking to help, offering these resources to middle income families. That the Primerica Household Budget Index, that's a pretty cool tool that I'm excited to see, uh, uh, evolve and grow. But let me share with you just something that has been on my mind here for a while now. So check this out, guys. So these are a couple pictures that I took at the event. I'm actually going to open up this one too. Check these out. So in 2020, 3 years ago, there was the median sales price was 300,000, 3% interest rate. That payment was 1,800, 60,000 annually. Okay, that means that over the length of the term, that they're going to be spending over 440,000 in interest. So fast forward 3 years, that same house with the same foundation, same wood, same nails, same same exact frame and aesthetics is a lot more, $150,000 more. Interest rates are a lot higher too as well. They're at about a 7.5 nationwide. This is the payments increased $2,000. That's insane, you guys, and it doubled the annual. Check this out, interest over doubled to $1.1 million for that same house. So the median household income, the decade of the 60s was 5,000 a year. Decade of the 70s was 10. So you could see it like was doubling. Decade of the 80s is 20,000. Decade of the 90s is 40,000. And this was for a good solid job. The decades of 2000, for this is having a good job, right? Not $80,000 a year in the 20s, in the 2000s. The 2010s, 160,000 is like should be the medium household income for a good, paying job. Decade of the 2020s, look how far behind we are, and look and we are in a mess right now. And it just I feel blessed that I'm able to share these resources with, medium household, and it's not just middle income households. It's everybody, because we all have friends and family. We all have seniors that are open enrollment that are going to be looking for Medicare options, or if you're on disability and you're under 65, you may qualify for Medicare too. So if you know anybody who is looking for Medicare uh, opportunities for them, their options they'd like to see, let me recommend them, because the power of our company, we're not just a life insurance company or a financial firm. We actually help with plethora of different services that we offer. So let me share with you real quick, and then I'll be uh, going to open up this one. So you can see here, you guys, this is amazing. We're one company, one Primerica. We're a life insurance company. We actually we're the actual life insurance company, so we can make changes. You can actually make changes on your policy too. You don't need to call somebody, a third party. We're lifetime investment Primerica advisors too. We do manage accounts, but we have all these different types of services, a pool of services that we can offer, the general public and your friends and family. So right now, again, open enrollment for Easy Medicare, that October 16th to the end of the year. And then uh, we do home and auto. If you need a home and auto quote, we can make sure you're properly covered, making sure you're getting every bang for your buck. We have security alarms for commercial and residential. The cool thing about this too, guys, is that we have Rocket Mortgage as a referral partner. So there is perks for going to us instead of going to Rocket Mortgage directly. Because Primerica is a powerhouse of a sales force, and all these companies, they want us to uh, offer our services to our clientele. So they're offering special perks, some additional coverages that you may not get if you go directly, or different additional discounts you might not get if you go directly to them. So it's a great company. Again, we do identity theft, legal and identity protection. Um, we have our 401ks, annuities, mutual funds, managed accounts. But you guys, if you're looking for an opportunity to be involved in this crusade, contact me. Today we're going to have a guest speaker, Shane Perry. He's from the Central Valley. He actually started as a beer delivery driver. Let me show you his picture here. You guys probably already seen my post, but out in Fresno, and now he'll be here tonight to talk about his story, and how he used our company to help the masses. And they say if you help a lot of people get to their dreams and goals, then yours will just fall into place. So let me help you guys build your dream. You can come work with us, come hear our story, come hear our coach's story, and DM me tonight. It starts at 7. If you're going to be here in person, be here at 6:30. Contact me for the address. Look forward to hearing from you guys. I want to see you guys either plugged in online, or if I get to see you in person, even better. God bless you guys. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.